Hi Reena. Hi Antra. Hi. Hi Sushi Mystery. Hi Anu. Hi Forum. Good evening. Chef Gaurav, you are the man. Hi Preeti, welcome here. Nice to see you. Wonderful to have you guys all joining in. Hi Deepak, my ardent fan and the fan of the club. Hi Sunil, nice to see you here. Hi Aniket, Ashish, Chetan. I can see lots of men on here today. I think the men are very interested in cooking. Ayush, hello. You're joining from Calcutta? So, it's probably about 12:30 in London just now, and Atul dropped me a line saying that he'll be here at 5 o'clock sharp. Oh, the men are happy to see me. Oh, that's nice to hear. Hi, Mr. Mehta, Mr. Ashish Mehta. You are a maverick. Samir, good afternoon, good evening. Tushar, you're putting it on TV? Really? You must record that for me then. Reena, I can see that you've gone out. You need to come back in by going back to Instagram. Hi Mark, welcome here. Hi to Nina and Conrad and everyone watching from there. So we'll have Chef joining us in another minute. And those of you who've not seen this before and have started watching, following the Club Mumbai and watching the live talks, we started this. This is our fifth series. Fifth episode, and this time round I said why not have a chef, and all the way from London to talk to us all about cooking, all about his journey, all about how the restaurant business is going to look like going forward after the COVID. Hi Yug. So if hi Atul. Good afternoon, should I say? So Chef Atul is here already, and I'm going to get him online, guys. Hi Tushar, and hi to Prisha and Arisha if they're watching too. I'm going to Chef. There he is. Welcome aboard. Welcome to India. Namaste.
Namaskar. How are you
Good.
doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. How's the weather in Mumbai today?
It's very sunny, nice and hot, unlike England. Though I know it's spring at this time of the year.
Well,
Has spring hit?
we have a usual London weather today. It's grey. It may rain.
Gloomy grey, and it might rain any moment.
Absolutely. How are
So
you?
Atul, I'm good. So as people join in, I thought we'll give them about 5-10 minutes as they join in and come on board. And as I said to you, this is our 5th episode. And we started with the doctor series, and we want to make it very interesting each time and get, it's becoming more of an infotainment rather than serious talks. And all of us thought, why not have a chef? That's what we are all about, isn't it?
Why
not? And recently I wrote an article on the lockdown men, and the focus was on Indian men. And I said, I am very confident that Indian men can cook. And I quickly did a survey and asked about 20 men, are you all cooking? What are you all doing? And about 10 of them responded saying they are cooking at home.
Well done.
So, yeah. Yeah. Hi, Vidya Pratap. Welcome. So, so we started this initiative about, 4 weeks ago. And we said this is a nice way to connect with people, with our customers. So, if you've heard of the club, it's in Mumbai, North Mumbai, and it's an affluent club. We have very affluent members. They are very world traveled. So I'm sure they must have eaten at your restaurants.
Fantastic.
When they traveled to London. Yeah. So yeah.
So he said somebody saying that I read that article. Yes, Indian man in London running the kitchen in lockdown.
Oh, you can read that. Yeah.
Right.
So tell us, what's the lockdown like in London?
So we have a kind of partial lockdown, and I think it's been put more kind of social responsibility on citizens that we got to abide by it and maintain the social distancing and not come out. So
yes,
stay home, protect lives, save NHS. That's what we are saying. And
so it's not as severe as it is in India, you would say?
I would say it's nowhere close to how the lockdown in India has been. We have been pretty chilled out about it. So last Friday, which was the day for yesterday, I had gone out to do some charity volunteering work in one of the Gurdwara kitchen.
Oh, I see.
We were cooking for about 500 people to give food to NHS. And that was the first day I had actually left the area where I live, to be honest, and ever since the lockdown started on March 20th. And there were so many cars on the road, and I just couldn't believe it. And there was actually traffic jam as well.
Oh, really?
Though nobody came out of the car and nobody was talking, and then everyone was maintaining their distance. But I was quite amazed to see, because compared to the pictures I see on television from India,
yeah,
there's hardly a soul on the streets,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
The only time I see people it's policemen charging with their lathis. They're just running out.
Yeah.
So that's the only scene I've seen. So we are slightly different, no doubt about it. But having said that, I think we have just passed the peak of virus. We are on the decline phase now.
All right.
Having said that, it's never comforting to know that we have lost 29,000 people in this country.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
Quite high number.
So while you guys were in the West more worried about stocking your homes with food and toilet rolls, in India people were worried about who's going to do their house chores and cleaning their homes. So it's quite an irony what the West thinks and what the East thinks. So
I tell you,
really
that worry is a bit here also. So we Dipti, my wife, obviously we get some social help.
Yes.
The lady comes and cleans the house every now and then. So obviously it's been 2+ months that she hasn't been. And she has Dipti has been threatening us that, okay, I'm going to call her now. It's enough. I can't do it. So me and kids were secretly not saying that we are scared. Don't call her. So I woke up this morning and had a cup of tea, did some gardening. Still everyone was sleeping. So I came back and took the mopping bucket out and mopped the whole house. That'll give Dipti a chance not to call her in today. So she has agreed to not calling her. She said, your standards are high. We can live with this.
Yeah. So you see what happens to Indian men when they go to the West. They become. Yeah.
While mopping that, I was actually thanking. When you go to hotel management school, you learn all the 4 principles. And
learn everything.
I did housekeeping as well. So I can't remember the name of the teacher. Her face is quite clear to me that she was Mrs. Natarajan, if I'm not wrong, Victor something. Yeah. So I was thanking her that she was always on my case. Atul, you don't mop well. You're not grooming the room well. So
you need to get better.
I was actually pretty proud that I knew the technique that how to do it, which is good.
There you go. Your hotel school prepares you for life skills. I truly believe.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So, guys, I mean, I'm talking to the audience. Atul is a friend, and he also is from the Oberois, where I worked at as well. So we are ex-colleagues we were at different properties. And then I met him in London as well when I was there for about 6 to 7 years. So you remember our meetup in London with Ashish and the family.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's been a while since we met, and I'm sure once the lockdown is lifted, we'll be most excited to have you welcome you back to India. Yeah. So have you been to the club, or you've heard about the club?
I've heard about the club. I've met several people who have worked with you in past. Actually, one of my managers from Banaras had gone and worked for you, and then came back to work for me again. And then I don't know whether he's back with you now or not. I don't know.
Yes. So no, he's not.
Of course, I know about the club well.
Yes. So, so we have 3 restaurants, and we've got banquet spaces as well. Of course, it's all closed now. But what we did was a lot of our members kept messaging us saying, can we get some food from the club? We love the food at the club. And we all huddled together and we said, how are we going to do this? And so so our chef, our executive chef, Gaurav Madan, is with us here online. Yes. I was trying to get the three window to see if we could have him here as well, but Instagram doesn't permit that, unfortunately, but maybe another time. So Chef Gaurav and his team. So Chef Gaurav and his team are actually stationed at the club, following all the sanitation and hygiene rules and everything. And we're actually delivering food home to our customers. In India, we have Zomato, Swiggy, Skutsi. So the food is either delivered through these platforms. They can be ordered through these platforms, or people can come and pick them up. So so we always had this brand. It's called the Flavors of the Club. But I think it's got a little more importance now during the lockdown. Definitely. And we are doing quite, I mean, the orders are coming in, we're doing quite well. And it's not only for our members, but even anybody can order the food online. So I heard that you guys are also stepping into that arena very soon there in London.
Yeah, now slowly we are. So, for first month or so, because there was no confidence and we didn't know how bad the virus is going to be. The first and the foremost priority was to keep everybody safe. I decided all the 5 restaurants we have, let's shut down, let's stay home, and let's this phase pass, and we'll see what happens later. We just got the confidence to come back now and start the delivery service. So from 2 of my restaurants we are planning to. So one restaurant kicks in this week, and then one in central London, Kanishka, kicks in a bit later in the week. I think just after the weekend. And then next week, I think we will bring Hawkins, which is in Amersham. That will also start delivering. So slowly we are planning to come back, because it's been almost 2 months that we haven't worked.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared whether I'll lose my skills now. So, and I definitely don't want myself to lose that skill.
I know, the other day I went out driving and I actually forgot how to open the petrol. The button for that. So we are kind of forgetting stuff. So shall we start, Atul?
Yes, please.
I need to say hello to a few people here. Mr. Bhushan Khanna, welcome. Cheryl and family from Goa, welcome. I read your message. I'm glad you all could see us. People from Lucknow. So I can see people from all over the country, all over the world also, I think, because I can see Lavi Behel from Amritsar. Welcome, Lavina. And I'm sure there are a lot of your fans and your fan club here as well.
There are some people who are saying they want to have my chicken tikka pie in Kanishka.
You better come here soon. Absolutely. Okay, so shall we start?
Yes, please.
Shall we start?
Yes.
Okay, so welcome to all our members, all of Atul's fans, followers, and the audience from all over the world. Like I said, I know there are people watching us from Dubai, from Canada. The US guys are still sleeping. From Europe, people in Singapore and all over India. So welcome everyone. Today we have with us a star. Someone who made India and the hospitality industry in India very proud. The warm and talented and my dear friend, Chef Atul Kochhar. So Atul owns 5 restaurants in England and his 6th one opens in 2021. He's been in England for 25 years now. So if you travel there after the pandemic ends, you have a plethora of his restaurants to dine at. And I'm going to try to get them all right, Atul. So pardon me if I make some mistakes. And because our members and our customers are so well traveled, they may have already eaten at your restaurant. So next time somebody might just come and tap you on the shoulder and said, I met you with Serena online.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Atul owns Kanishka at the Mayfair, London, the Indian Essence in Bromley, Sindhu and Vasu in Marlow, and Hawkins in Amersham. And he is very, very gutsy. He's opening another one in Westminster called Mathura next year in 2021.
Right.
Have I got them all right,
Absolutely
Atul?
right. Well done.
Yeah. It's like getting all your children's names correctly, isn't it?
Yes.
Each one of them is like a child. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So what we'll do is I have a few questions for you, which I'm sure would answer a lot of questions people have in the audience. And towards the end, we'll have a little Q&A. And people can type in your questions for Atul. I would request not to type the questions now because it's difficult to capture them all. So in the end, if you can all put the questions down. I love you too, Mr. Khanna. Mr. Khanna Singh, I love you. and Atul says hi to you. So in the end, if you can type the questions and Atul will try to answer them. Okay. So you come from Jamshedpur.
Yes.
Tell us about your journey, what interested you to become a chef and now a restaurant businessman.
So people who know Jamshedpur or don't know Jamshedpur, I'll just repeat it once again. It's an industrial town. So it was also called Tata Nagar because Jamshedji Nasarwanji Tata started that town from a very little hut to such a big factory, and then so many more factories came along people from all over India. So to be born and bred in a place which was industrial town, but the social side was, it was a very cosmopolitan town because people from all over India were there. And being born and bred there, I didn't know anything better, to be honest. People from Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, Bengal, Gujarat, they were all in the vicinity and they were in the same colony where I was growing up. But the shock was whenever I would leave Jamshedpur and go out, when we were in Uttar Pradesh or when I went to Chennai, I used to get shock of my life that no, actually, world is very different. It's not like Jamshedpur.
Yes, true that.
So it had its advantages. In spite of being an industrial town, I grew up very cosmopolitan Indian, to be honest. And in Jamshedpur, my grandfather, my Nana, had a bakery. It was just little before my time, but he was a baker. So family belonged to we are a baker family, so to speak. Then my father started a catering business. He was a self-taught chef. And as I was growing up, I gave a hand to him once in a while. But then comes the time when you're on the crossroad and you have to decide whether you want to be traditional Indian boy, doctor, engineer, accountant, or you want to do something different. By that time, being in Jamshedpur, because people with different walks of life and different thought processes, so hotel management had already creeped into our society in Jamshedpur, and there were lots of families were sending their children to hotel management. And I got intrigued, and I found out more about it from one of my mother's friend, Mrs. Surti, and her 2 sons were doing hotel management in Mumbai that time, Bombay, and they are both working for Tatas, I believe now. So I got to know them and understood how it is done. So I decided to ditch medical school and go to IHM Chennai.
Yes.
So then I studied in IHM Chennai. That's where I met Ashish, a great friend and a mentor. And then I went to OSHM those days, Oberoi School of Hotel Management. Now it's called OCLD. So I went there for 3 years, and then 2.5 years of working with them. And that kind of prepared me so well for the world. I just didn't become a better chef. I became a better human, better manager, a better global citizen, to be honest, because that training is I am today. I learned everything I know. I owe it to that training, to be honest. And then I got headhunted to open a restaurant here in London, and that was called Tamarind. And the funny story is, I was working for that time. La Rochelle used to be the restaurant.
Yes.
And I had prepared a dinner for Mr. O'Brien, and he was treating a friend of his called Mr. Vipin Khanna. And Mr. O'Brien introduced me to Vipin Khanna, saying, he's a friend of mine. He's an industrialist, and he's planning to open a restaurant. He's looking for a chef. You don't go there. I said, okay, I will go there. And after 6 months, I got a call from Mr. Vipin Khanna saying, I want to see you. So I went to see him. And then he said, Mr. O'Brien told you we are opening a restaurant. I said, but Mr. O'Brien also said you're not going there. He said, yeah, but he didn't mean it. Why don't you think let me know if you want to go abroad. And I thought for a few days, and I thought, yeah, why not? I want to travel abroad, and I want to see the world. I want to learn from different places. Why not? Let's start a journey. So I said yes to him, and I forgot about it. Then another 6 months later, I got a call saying, oh, your visa is here. You must go now. It's about a week's time they'll give you. You get packing and go. And I had to tell my bosses that I'm going in a week's time, which didn't go down very well. So I left O'Brien Hush Hush, and then landed in London, started the restaurant. It was quite a journey, to be honest, because London was quite heavily into European food that time. Indian food was known as curry. That's all.
Curry.
People would go to Indian restaurant on Fridays and Saturdays only. Nobody went to Indian restaurant rest of the week. So it was quite a tough call, to be honest, to start something quite gutsy and posh. I remember a supplier came to me. He said, hey, chef, I told my wife to put on the best dress she has for this Saturday, and I'm taking her to the best curry house in town. And I said, oh my God, curry house. This is what I've come to work in now. But I think we took it as a challenge. We thought, we'll work this place, and we'll make sure that we are also equally respected. It kind of became a silent challenge to us. And
yes.
I kind of kept training, and in between, Sarina, my father came to see me, and saw my food. My father was a self-taught chef, very passionate man. Looked at my menu. He said, "You're not cooking the way you're supposed to be cooking."
Of course.
I said, "I'm a very well-trained chef, and what are you saying?" He said, well, look at your menu. You're cooking a fish called pomfret. You're cooking okra. You are using very safe things which Indians would love, no doubt about it. But how about British? You're not working in Calcutta, Mumbai, or Chennai anymore. You are here, and you are catering to a very different clientele with very different taste, and you need to up your game. I still didn't understand. He went out and got me 2-3 menus, and he got me. I still have that menu with me. It was Gordon Ramsay's menu, in which he was actually cooking a monkfish curry on the menu. So he was serving it with a curry sauce. And he said, look, this guy is a 2 Michelin star chef. He has never been to India, but he has got the sense that how he needs to up his game. Obviously, he's quite French trained. You are very well trained. You know French food, you have learned Italian, you have learned Chinese, you know Indian well. Why aren't you mixing up? Look at the ingredients here and start learning. So once my dad left, I started training with some of the French and English chefs. On my days off, I would go and work in their kitchens, and also started working with the suppliers. So I used to go to a butcher on my day off and work there for free, of course, to learn different cuts, what works, what doesn't work, and how it needs to be cooked. I got a huge knowledge from there. Then I asked the fishmonger that if I can go out on a boat to catch the fish. So they set me out for 3 days. I went to North Sea. It was a small boat, and I had never experienced sea before that. I was sick like anything for those 3 days.
Yeah.
They were all laughing. They say, whenever I would be sick, they'll say, go on, have a beer, you'll be all right. Don't worry
You'll
about
be
it.
all right.
It took time, but I got around it. But I learned that how the nets are casted and how they are brought back, how you sort the fish, what you keep, what you don't keep, the different sizes of the nets, which I had never learned, to be honest. And then also, it was also a crabbing ship, so we had to keep the right size of crab with us and throw the rest back. All that was very ethical and very sensible, to be honest. And I came back and also worked in a farm, learning how to ride a tractor, how to sow things in what month, which month, how you take things out. So it was a huge learning for about 2 years for me. I just kept doing that. And that had a massive impact on my food. Every day I would cook something new, something different. There was, I remember there was a recipe on my menu, a Rajasthani recipe called Pyaj Ki Sabji. So yeah, so it was in Rajasthan. It's very common. It's made with kalonji, hing, and jeera and all that. So I started mixing 2-3 types of onion. So I thought, I can use onion family. I had leek in there, I had spring onion there, I had red onion, I had yellow onion, and the brown onion. So it became a very different dish altogether, and everyone was loving it because it was to everyone's taste. British knew their leek, and Indians obviously knew their onion, and for them it was a new taste. And the people who were visiting also, they found it very intriguing that there's a new spin to it. And later that year, which was 2001, we landed up with a Michelin star, and I just couldn't believe it. When I was told that I got the star, I said, the next thing you're going to tell me, I'm King of England as well. So just go away.
Well, we are waiting. We are waiting for you to be knighted soon. So.
That's it. So we kind of turned the corner, and we got included in Michelin Guide, which was one of the biggest moments for us. Never looked back.
Yes.
But it was time to leave Tamarind because I asked the honest question to Mr. Khanna that whether I can become a business partner there. He said, no, not possible. So I said, okay, then I should start a business of my own. And I found two gentlemen. And that's how I met. I brought Ashish back into the scheme. Ashish also came and invested with me. So we started Banaras in 2003. And I left Banaras in 2018. I sold my shares back to the company, and I formed a new company now through which we'll be opening several restaurants. Kanishka is the first one. Kanishka opened its door in 2019 of February. And we were supposed to open Mathura this year, but it got delayed because of the building works plus COVID-19. So we'll open Mathura. Plus there are many more in the pipeline. That's the plan so far. Hopefully world will be a sane place again.
So continue
our journey.
Yes. So before we go on to your next question, there are some people from Bollywood who's joined us. So hi Ahana, welcome. Hi Nitya and Sunil, welcome here. And Sangeeta Pritwani, welcome. There's Sainath here who used to work with you, and he was our manager.
Good to see you.
Yes. So you did us very proud in 2001 as the first Indian to get the Michelin star for Indian food. So tell us, how has Indian food evolved? So there is the British who eat Indian food in a particular manner, and then there's us, the pure Indians who enjoy Indian food wherever we go. So I remember telling Ashish, if I come to your restaurant, please don't give me the British Indian food. You please give me my normal Indian food, which I am used to. So, and how has that evolved now? Because we have a plethora of cuisines, and the regional cuisines of India are taking forth. I mean, you have Parsi food, you have the South Indian food. In South India, you have the Kerala and the Tamil food and the Hyderabadi food, the Andhra food. There's so much. So how is the Indian food, has it evolved and will it evolve in future?
So yesterday I was talking to one of the main judges of MasterChef UK, Greg Wallace. And we were talking, and Greg said something very interesting, which I have never used the term before, but now I'm going to because he has coined it. He said there is nothing called Indian cuisine, but what we should be calling it should be cuisines of India.
Cuisines of India, absolutely. Yeah. You hit the nail.
Yeah, he said, it's very difficult. It's a Indian subcontinent. It's a subcontinent. So many influences, so many ways of cooking same ingredient, so many different combinations of spices, and so many different ways to look at it. It's going to be hard to judge it by any standards. It's a very tough cuisine to judge. So we don't have a definition for Indian cuisine, so to speak.
Yes.
So what we need to think of is in terms of immediately distinguish that where the guest comes from. So there's a classic example. A lady called me when I was at Tamrin, called me and she said, Atul, your gobi ki sabji is actually very nice, but it's not authentic. So I was like, okay, I'm very sorry, ma'am, but what do you mean by authentic? And then she explained that the way she would cook it. And before she would finish the sentence, I said, ma'am, I don't know who you are, but I don't know your name also. But by any chance, are you from Gujarat? She said, yes. So I said, you are absolutely spot on. My food is not authentic because my brief for this restaurant is to cook Punjabi food. And I'm making gobi aloo very Punjabi way. And what you have described is very Gujarati way. So she had a big smile on her face. She said, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. This is what it is. So to be able to please our people, it's never going to be an easy job. We are so diverse, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty. So I think the only request I have to everybody is that when you go to the restaurant, try to see the food through the eyes of the chef who's cooking there. And that's the best way to understand. Because if you're looking for your own food, and especially Indian food, then you're better off staying home and eating at home because you know the best. But when you go out, you step out, you're going for an experience and give them a chance to explore and let it be slightly different. So what I did, I had to kind of distinguish very carefully and make a very big leap, saying that there has to be a restaurant food and there has to be home food.
Yes.
So when I'm making cauliflower, I will just not make gobi aloo, whether it's adraki or with hing only. I will not do that. I will make cauliflower with 2-3 different types of cauliflower, give 2-3 different textures, make it complex, and pick up the flavors from across the India to give taste of different things that we do. And it may not be a very authentic dish, but it will be a very Indian dish because it has been derived from all the essence of India. And I think that's the kind of food I do. So it's very hard for me to say that I will give you what you want. So I will be the first one to say, I'm really sorry, I'll not give you what you want, but I'll give you something that you've not had before. But you will remember it. You will remember it and you will come back for it again. So that's my aim, and that's what we try to do at my restaurants.
That's good. Somebody just commented here, this looks like a scene from the movie Chini Kam. Have you seen that movie?
I have.
So Amitabh Bachchan is the chef there, and the lady is Tabu. So he's giving you that honor of feeling like Amitabh Bachchan.
Oh,
yeah. So someone.
I thought that I'm going to be like Tabu, but anyway, I take the compliment.
That's in another life. That's in another life. So, what are some of your favorite Indian dishes that you like to cook for your customers, and how is that? How do you evolve through your favorite dishes?
So, the evolution of the dish is actually always, it happens every year, to be honest. Let's put it this way. So, I'll just take an example that asparagus and salmon, I cook every year. But perhaps the same recipe, but that recipe gets evolved because something new arrives in the market, or I have learned something new, a new technique has come in, or I have discovered a new spice combination which I think works incredibly well. So that trend continues. That combination might stay because that's the summer and the spring combination for me, but techniques and the presentation and the taste might just evolve. So coming back to asparagus, for example, I love cooking asparagus from raw. A lot of people like to blanch the asparagus. I think it's a waste of flavor, in my opinion, because the moment you put it in the water, the flavor gets leached out and you don't get it. Whereas I like to just put it straight on the grill, char them, and then add the flavor, whichever flavor you want to add. So asparagus is kind of main thing for me at the moment. Springtime, asparagus, salmon. I would go for venison this time of the year.
Venison.
That's fantastic. lamb, English lamb during this time of the year is fantastic. And then there are lots of things from the ground, to be honest. So the baby beetroot, the baby leeks, all the baby vegetables start springing out, and they taste so nice. And my effort has always been to use the spices because that's my heritage, that's my way of cooking.
Yes.
But I like to just keep the spicing in such a way that it never overtakes the natural flavor of the vegetable. Because this is what I teach my cooks, that the moment your spicing takes over the food flavor, you have actually defeated the purpose of cooking.
You're defeating the person, yeah.
The
You kill flavor.
spices are seasoning. You're not here to eat spices. They are seasoning. If you
Yes.
need to eat just spices only, then you might as well cook with spices and just say that it's a spice curry. That's what it is. And don't do anything to it. So if I'm making asparagus, let it be asparagus. I want the flavor of sesame seed to come through. I want the flavor of my cumin to come through. The freshly crushed cherry black pepper which we have put on that. I want that flavor to be experienced. But at no point, either on its own or together, those spices to overtake the flavor of asparagus. That crunchiness, that green, raw, umami flavor, all that needs to stay there for that to be called an asparagus, grilled asparagus, or whatever we are calling it.
Right. So, I mean, if this pandemic was not on, I would just say, why don't you just come over next week and tell us all about this? But yeah, we can't wait to eat all this lovely food that you're talking about. And this season, usually May and June, are when Indians travel to London and to the US. So I'm sure there are lots of people here who are missing this summer vacation overseas, and I don't know, I'm sure we can someday quickly, once this thing is over, get you here. We'll all fly down to you.
I often joke that in month of May and June, you can stand on the Oxford Street crossing and ask for the direction in Hindi and you will get it.
You'll get it. Yes, that's true, with all the Indians walking around there. So now coming back to reality, what is the future of dining out post-COVID? Is dine-in going to be the new dine-out? At the club, like I said to you earlier, we've had our home delivery brand, Flavors of the Club, which is much in demand now. So do you think this is going to flourish going forward?
So I've been talking to lots of friends across the globe. Okay, so I'm connecting to hopefully soon to a friend, a very well-known master chef judge as well. George Kulumbar is in this week, so I'll find out how they are doing. But a couple of other chefs I've spoken to, and then I'm connecting to my friends in Bangkok. Italy is about to start opening, and Spain is also thinking of opening up. So there are countries that are slowly coming back to the business again. But every chef is saying that there are big rules of social distancing have already come in, or they are coming. That 2-meter rule would have to be adhered to all the time. So if you are a 50-seater or a 100-seater restaurant, then you'll become 50-seater, and if you're 50, then you'll become 30. So the numbers are definitely going down. We would have to kind of readjust as a restaurant, that either we would have to have a prolonged lunch and dinner services, or all-day dining we would have to become, or just agree to kind of squeeze the entire expenses. And the problem there is, what are we going to do with the landlord? Or with council taxes? We got to address that, because that's a major chunk of our outgoings, and we have to worry about it in a big way. However, what you said is definitely resonating with everyone, and I totally agree. Dining in is going to be the new dining out. Mm-hmm. Lots and lots of people, at least for this year, I see that people would like to stay in, but still have food of their choice, the way they like it, the way they want it. And how elegantly we as F&B outfits can deliver that to them, it's a space that we all have to fight for, and show our skills and proneness into it. But yes, people would want an experience. So whether with the social distancing and with all the safety, can we afford to send fantastic food, beautifully laid out, and also serve all those things, whether that can be done? I think we have to wait and see.
Yes, yes. One of the things
definitely dining is the new dining out. That's for sure.
Yes, and the labor cost may be very high in London, but here one of the things we do is we can actually bring the food, the service, the cutlery, the crockery, do all the laying it out beautifully and serving it and clearing it all up for you. So I think this is what the hoteliers or the restaurateurs in India are thinking about, that this is going to be the next thing. And yeah, so I mean, we have been doing it in the past, but I think it's going to be more increasing going forward.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
But Serena, yes, definitely. I think what you said, I'm just going to take a little business turn on that and just ask.
Of course. Yes.
That, what you said, it's expensive here, but it's all in relative terms, to be honest.
So relative terms, yeah.
What is cheap for you is expensive for us. That is labor cost. But what is sensible here is very expensive in India, and that is real estate. So
that's true.
Until unless you leave the high street or you leave your mall position and go into an industrial area and put an outfit there and start serving posh food to people in their homes, then cost becomes very different. But if you were to stay put in your restaurant premises and serve people outside and also manage the restaurant, then cost can be humongous. It can be very difficult. So from a restaurateur's point of view, I think it's a very, very different ballgame.
Absolutely. So now a personal question for every chef, and I'm sure a lot of your diners have asked you this in the past. They have asked our chef a lot of times, and now that I have you here and your apt attention and rapt attention, let me ask you:
Go for it.
Do you cook at home? And honestly, who owns the kitchen at home?
I do cook at home, and especially with this COVID-19 thing happening, we had to kind of evolve. All of us had to evolve. Kids had to learn to stay home. That was one thing.
Yes.
My wife had to get used to me being home all the time. That was another thing. And then I had to get used to it with that.
Yes.
Sorry. I had to get used to that I'm here all the time. So it's staying here for a while. So I do cook, but also when in the normal circumstances, I have always cooked breakfast in my house because I'm the first one to wake up, and then kids have to go to school by 7:30, 7:45. So I only get that extra 1 hour or so with my children in the morning. So I'm a designated breakfast cook at home. So I sort out the breakfast for everyone, and then everybody go on to their normal jobs.
Good.
But
so what is this? Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Who owns the kitchen? Definitely Dipti owns the kitchen. I'm just
Dipti owns the kitchen. Okay, so this is on record. Okay, we are recording this. So before we open up for questions for the audience, what is this one tip that you would give Indian men who are wanting to cook or who are cooking and who want to learn more from you?
So people who are cooking already, so I'll just 2-3 things which I'm doing, and I think it can help everyone. So if you are making a spice paste or a spice powder, make enough so that you can use it next week also. But don't cook with that again in the same week because you will get caught out. Save it, pack it, keep it separately, and take that masala out. So if you are cooking a chicken, for example, with the same spices, use it on lamb next week. It will taste absolutely different, and it will have a different flavor. And in terms of, because onions are the backbone of our cooking, right? So they take a long time. So make a large batch of onions, cook onion batch, whether you want to saute it or you want to roast them, it's entirely your call. But if you saute the onions with ginger garlic paste and make a fine paste, blast chill it, or if you don't have a blast, you just cool it down, and then backpack if you can, otherwise just zip bags and 300-gram packets and freeze them. And next time, whenever you're cooking something, you can take that packet out, just crush, because the ice goes up very quickly in that. And then you can just shorten the cooking time from an hour to 30 minutes or 35 minutes, no more than that. So sitting in front of telly with a glass of wine and watching the Netflix and being with your loved ones will become even more wonderful, to be honest, and you'll enjoy your time more. And
fabulous.
If you want to learn more from me, you can follow me on Instagram or on YouTube, because I'm throwing out recipes for free at the moment, so you can pick it up.
Yes, that's nice. Okay, audience. So we are open for questions, and you can type them out in the little comment box there. Either I'll pick them up or Atul can pick them up for your questions. So we are ready now.
I freeze onion, ginger, garlic masala, and muffin trays. Perfect idea, in my opinion. Whosoever does that, very clever. Mr. Gupta.
Okay, you can see questions. I can't.
There's a friend of mine, Andy Yates, is asking me to point. So point, which way? I don't know, but point it at you.
Okay. Okay, somebody's asked a question here. How does one keep the chicken juicy in the inside and crispy on the outside when you fry it with a marinade?
So they want to keep the chicken juicy, but have it crispy outside. And especially, this is only possible when you're frying it, that's for sure. So the way,
yes.
the way I do it, after marinating the chicken, I toss them in rice flour. And rice flour is actually much better than any other thing, because if you use besan or gram flour, that gets a little soggy, but rice flour has got the tendency to become crisp very fast, while sealing all the juices inside. So I would say mix the two if you want to. So sometimes I mix maize flour, which is the corn flour, a little bit of gram flour, and more of rice flour. These three combinations works incredibly well. Don't forget to season your flour though.
Yes. Can you see any questions, Atul? Because my screen seems to be...
Hey, it says, how can dine-in culture be cultivated for fine dining food without compromising quality and the freshness? Michelin restaurants don't dodgy pack for health and the integrity reasons. So how will this evolve? Very good question, Vedant. I think we would have to evolve a packaging. We would have to work with the packaging industry and how we can take this out. Or sometimes we may have to send the food out with a chef who will actually dish it out for you there. Again, maintaining the social distancing and also the hygiene, health and hygiene regulations.
Okay, there's a very tricky question here for you.
Yep.
How can dine-in culture be cultivated for fine dine food without compromising quality or freshness? Michelin restaurants don't doggy pack for health and integrity reasons. So how will this evolve?
I just answered that, Serena. I just answered that.
You answered that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I just answered that.
Yes. What do you cook for breakfast? Somebody wants to know.
I'm fond of vegetarian food for breakfast, to be honest, for some reason. I don't jump onto sausages and ham and eggs. I do eggs from time to time, but I like my vegetarian food. So upma, poha, cereal, or fruit with yogurt or muesli, these are the things I like. And once in a while I indulge, like today. There was a fantastic cauliflower and potato curry which I had made in Gurdwara 2 days ago. I brought some home. So I got Dipti to make some parathas and I indulged. I feel a bit fuller at the moment, but I think I'll skip lunch.
Somebody asked, how can we enjoy dozens of variety of khichdi in India that we enjoyed on a Ponant to Antarctica last year?
Okay, who's this person asking? Can you tell me the name?
Satish Khanna.
Okay. Well, I can put some recipes out. I think I made different types of khichdis when we went to Antarctica and Mr. Khanna was there, I think. So we use different ingredients. Which I just didn't make khichdi with rice and dal only, but I had quinoa and tapioca, and I use a variety of ingredients. And because you were limited with whatever the ingredients you had, the store you had on the ship, so we had to be creative. So we use sometimes broccoli, we use corn, we use beetroot. I think we use different combinations to create new flavors. And I think that's what Mr. Khanna is referring to. I will dig into my old notes, Mr. Khanna, and I'll see if I can cook 3-4 recipes and put it up on the Instagram for you.
Oh, that's very kind of you. I hope you're happy, Mr. Satish Khanna. What is a best lamb joint for kofta masala? I don't know whether that's a question or whether that's...
Lamb joint to make koftas, I think. That's what they're asking.
Yes.
So, koftas are, I think, another version of sheikh kebab, in my opinion. You need the same kind of meat for kofta. So I would stick to leg meat only. But if you were going to cook lamb and then make koftas out of it and then fry it, so double cooking, I'm saying, then in that case I would go for a stewing piece, and that would be a shoulder. So if you cook shoulder, which would be a lot cheaper, but you cook it on slow heat for a very long time and then shred it, mix it with the spices, mince it if you wish to, and then make kofta and fry them. It will taste delicious because you have had chance to cook it twice and also double spice it.
Wonderful. I have a question about coriander. How can we keep it fresh and green for long?
So the way I keep it, we call it's a kind of paper towel, you can call it. So we call it J cloth in kitchens. So whenever we get a big consignment of coriander, which we do every day, so what we do, we wrap them in J cloth and wet J cloth basically. So what it does, it provides the moisture constantly, because the air in the fridge can be very harsh to all the herbs. Whereas if they are wrapped in the cold towel, then they just need moisturized air for themselves. So which keeps them fresh and crisp for a very long time.
Okay. Reena Gupta asks, what other cuisines do you like besides Indian? Your favorite cuisine besides Indian?
I'm a big foodie, so growing up in India, obviously I love Chinese food, and Chinese, the way we Indians eat, it might be Sino-Ludhianvi food, whatever you want to call it, but that's what I love it. I'm a Punjabi, what do I do? But I love Thai food. I think it has got the best of everything, in my opinion.
Yes. Somebody's asking, what's your favorite spice to use? I mean, the spice that you use in most of your foods.
I think it has become a joke now because I've used it so much. It's coriander powder.
Right. I have another question, and this is continental food. Why does white sauce curdle sometimes while baking?
Yeah, it could be. There are two reasons for curdling of the white sauce. Either your fat is a bit too much over the proportion, that curdles the sauce, or while mixing it, you haven't cooked the roux properly as well. So then roux doesn't have the strength to hold the moisture well in a uniform way, and that allows to curdle.
Somebody has a business question for you.
Okay.
There is a multitude of world-class Indian restaurants in London. Do owners and restaurateurs collaborate and share ideas behind the scenes, or is it very competitive?
It's extremely competitive, but it doesn't mean that we are enemies. We are still friends, and whosoever, the people who get along well with each other, they still share ideas, but there is no strategy that behind the scene, this is what we're going to do. So everybody, they do their own bit. But of course, there's a trend with the ingredients, there's a trend with the technique, there's a trend with the fashion and all that. So I think we all come together on the same path at the end, but in our own ways.
Yes. Anamika is asking how to make perfect bhaturas at home.
I'm also looking for a recipe, Anamika. Share it if you find one. But the way I think Dipti makes such beautiful bhatura that I never had to put my hands into it. But I think the best recipe for bhatura would be the way I like to make it. I mix in bhatura, I use plain flour and suji, because I think that really helps to bhatura to give that texture and the crispiness which is required.
Yes, the texture. Yeah.
And you can use, of course, the baking powder is essential. But I've seen recipes where people use egg and all that. I don't agree to that. And I like to make my bhatura with desi ghee, a little bit of desi ghee in there, and also yogurt, because that really improves the elasticity quality of the flour. And the temperature of oil is very critical. It cannot be too high, it cannot be too slow. So if you maintain it around 170, between 170, 180, 190, trust me, 190 is too high for bhatura. Bhatura gets burned before it gets cooked. More 160, 170 rather than 180.
Yes. Somebody's asking, how do I make a stretchy pizza dough like in Milan? Wow.
Oh, I have to go to Milan to find that one out.
Find that out. Yes.
It's more with the quality of the flour they use than anything else. Yeah, so, in Europe, we are quite spoiled. You have, I think, 7 or 10 different varieties of flour we get. Whereas in India, you only get one flour. So to be able to achieve through that, I think it'll be tough if you're in India. But if you are here, if you find there are specific flours that come for pizza doughs, you will find that it'll be easier to make it with that flour. And if you can get that in India, why not try it with that?
Is that a similar answer you would give to somebody here who's asking, how do you make restaurant style naan at home?
It's very hard to make restaurant style naan because you won't have a tandoori oven at home.
Yes.
I'm a chef and I'm a chef entrepreneur and I have 5 restaurants. I don't have a tandoori oven at home, so I wouldn't dare make naans at home. I'll be very honest. But if you have a pizza bake kind of function in your oven, which comes with a terracotta tray, you can partially be successful. You can follow the recipe. I'm happy to put that on one day. Perhaps show it also that how it can be done on the pizza bake oven. But getting that perfect naan won't be possible.
So I think we have time for one more question. You pick that, Atul.
I'm scouring through.
Have we answered almost all of them? I have one here. If you, if I can go on. This is a student, a chef student, is asking, what advice would you give to somebody who is wanting to become an chef, an emerging student chef? What advice would you give to an emerging student chef going forward?
So, and I'm presuming that you're already in a chef school. And if you're not, then I would say choose the school very carefully, which school you go to, because India has got several and a lot of good ones as well. But scouring through and finding the right one would be the biggest trick. And school will actually prepare you for what you want to be in life. But there's only one rule you have to remember. You have to keep your head down and keep working hard. Have your agenda right in front of you that you want to learn for next 10 years. And don't look up for anything else. Don't get distracted. And you will learn that, you will come to know that you have become an amazing chef. You will have confidence to perhaps start your own business or be executive chef or head chef or wherever you want to be. But learning is the key. And the only regret I have, that maybe I left Oberoi a little early, or I didn't go and explore and work under somebody, because at age of 24, I became a head chef. And I had a huge responsibility, morally, socially, financially, to make sure that the restaurant is successful. So my learning actually got stunted a bit. Had I invested another 3-4 years on myself, then perhaps it would have been great. But no regrets. What I've done, I'm done with that now. But I didn't stop learning. I kept going to other people's kitchens and kept learning from there. So please do that.
So it's very important to learn under someone for a while, isn't it? Because we have a good audience that are students through a hotel school. Yeah, I'm just being prompted, and somebody's telling me that. So you have a lot of these kids who graduate from college and say, I want to start a restaurant. But what you're saying is try and work for a good number of years under someone to learn the ropes of the kitchen. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. There's one of my restaurants is in a hotel chain called McDonald Hotels here. They own 48 hotels. Mr. McDonald has got one son only, Rory. The guy was born not with silver spoon but with golden spoon, let's say it that way. But when Rory finished from the college, he went out to work for a carpet company first. Then he worked in a construction company. Then he worked in a cleaning company. Then he came back to be assistant general manager in one of the properties. And then slowly he has been rising, and now he has become the CEO of the company. So in spite of owning the company outright, he went on a journey of about 10-12 years to learn from others before he took the reins of his own business. So why would you go do that? You need to learn. There are so many things, and it's a very complicated business. Hospitality is not an easy business. You want to learn everything possible, and you can't learn. But give yourself time. Don't put yourself under unnecessary stress and pressure. Learn from others. You will find one day you will be ready to take over, and then go and do whatever you want to.
Yes. Thank you, Atul. I think it's time to now say goodbye to you.
Good to see you.
But thank you very, very much for joining us today on behalf of Mr. Dinesh Khanna. Sorry, something happened and we all got disconnected. Not sure what. I'm not too sure if Atul is still here. I'll wait for a few more minutes before we say goodbye to him. Oh yes, he's here. Hi Atul, I don't know what happened.
I think in 1 hour time it gets cut. So that's what it is.
Oh, I see. I think Instagram wanted us to say goodbye before we wanted to say goodbye to you. So I want to take this opportunity to say thank you very much for you to come online here at a very short notice. I remember we just spoke this week and you were so willing to be here with us and to talk to all of us. We are privileged to have a Michelin chef here in our midst, and I'm sure we will see you soon in London. Or better than that would be if you come here and we see you here. I take this opportunity to invite you to cook us as a storm at the club when you visit us soon. So thank you very much.
I look forward to that, Sarina. Thank you so much. And be well, be safe, and look after yourself.
Thank you.
Hope to see you all soon.
Yes.
Be well.
Yes. Warm regards to Dipti and the family.
Thanks,
Namaste.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.